Hello, happy Earth Day, or at least happy Earth Day for yesterday if this video doesn't go up on actual Earth Day. I have felt so inspired recently to make this video, mostly because this year I said to myself I really wanted to start reducing my waste in more ways than I have been doing in the past, and it's something that I'm thinking about a lot more. There's a real plastic crisis on our planet today. There's just plastic everywhere. The amount of waste that we're producing is through the roof. It is our responsibility. It's your responsibility. It's my responsibility. As individuals, we need to realise our impact and we need to take care of the earth. There's no judgment either here. I am not perfect. I never refer to myself as zero waste or somebody who lives a perfectly waste-free life. It's not feasible and everybody makes mistakes, but it's all about doing your best in the moment, trying your hardest. And these points that I'm gonna list, I don't do all of them every single day. I fail sometimes, but that's normal as long as you're being conscious and aware and taking responsibility and learning from mistakes and trying to do better. That's all that matters. And if we all did that, we'd all make a huge, huge difference. So without further ado, let's get into the 30 ways that you can reduce your waste. So the first thing is to stop buying so much stuff. I've talked about this a lot on my channel in my minimalism series, and it's one of the biggest things that you can do to reduce your waste. When you're buying new things, you are creating demand for that thing, and you are creating demand for that thing to be produced, and the whole journey it's taken to get to you has required a lot of energy. So if you stop buying so much new stuff, then you're going to immediately reduce your carbon footprint. Number 2 is to try to avoid food wrapped in plastic. This can be tricky because most food these days is wrapped in plastic. In the UK alone, we produce over 170 tons of waste every year, much of which is food packaging. And if you go look in your bin right now, I'm sure a lot of it is going to be plastic that was wrapping your food. And for me, this is definitely one of the biggest things that I'm working on because supermarkets cover everything in plastic. So you can't always win, just do your best. This moves you on to bringing your own backpack and your own bags to the supermarket, or when you go out shopping, or when you go out anywhere, honestly. You then don't have to use plastic bags to hold your loose veg, or even just the plastic bags to fill your shopping in. It means you're always covered. You have something of your own that you can reuse over and over again. I have these really great cotton ones. I'll leave a link to everything that I mentioned in this video down below, just FYI, but they're great because I can use those for loose fruit and veg, and I always take a backpack with me everywhere I go, and if not, I will take a little bag just in case I need to pick something up. Number 4 is to shop at your local market or health food shop. Not only is it better to support the local economy and to purchase produce that has been produced locally, but also it's a great way to avoid plastic because these places often have a lot less plastic on their food items. What I like to do is go to my local health food shop first. They often have a lot of things that are actually cheaper and more affordable than the supermarket, and then anything that they don't have or that is maybe a bit too expensive for me, I will then go to the supermarket and get. It works really well, it saves a lot of packaging, and it often saves a lot of money. Number 5 is to buy things in bulk. You can look up online and see if there's anywhere locally that you can buy food in bulk and go there to get it. Then you can take your own containers and not use any packaging. Number 6 is to avoid single-use plastic items or food. So things like plastic cutlery, plastic straws, plates, cups, and single-use food items, so pre-packaged salads or dressings or little sachets of things. Try and buy the food item that has multiple uses. It's going to make up multiple meals rather than just the one little meal, so like one little sachet of porridge. Go for the big pack of oatmeal. Number 7 is to get your own reusable bottle. Plastic bottles can take up to 450 years to break down, so it's more important than ever that we stop using plastic bottles and we bring our own. So I have this water bottle from Vanity Planet. I take it everywhere I go. It's so amazing. It's made from stainless steel. I love the colour of it. It keeps cold water cold, hot water hot. So if you're new to the low waste lifestyle, then this is a great place to start. It also keeps you hydrated, it's keeping you healthy. So if you'd like to get your hands on one, I do have a discount code for you and also a link. So I'll leave all the information down below if you would like to get your hands on one to start reducing your waste. So when you're avoiding the single-use items that you get in shops sometimes, like the single-use cutlery or straws, bring your own. I've had this set of stainless steel straws for years. I use them out and about and at home. I also have this really great cutlery set from Amazon that I took traveling with me. I did end up losing the spoon though, so I also have these spoons and forks from coconut bowls. Same goes for containers, just chuck them in your bag. You don't have to go out and buy any fancy new containers or bento boxes or whatever. You can if you want to, but just use what you have. And when you're eating out, just kindly ask them, could you put this in my container for me? And usually they'll say yes and be fine with it. And it means you're just saving on that little bit of extra waste. Number 9 is to ask for no straw. This is something that I often forget because I'm a really forgetful person, and I kick myself every time this happens. But honestly, we're adults, we don't need straws, we're not babies, we can drink a drink without a straw or use the stainless steel straw that I just mentioned. Number 10 is to drink loose leaf tea. I only recently made this switch because I realised tea bags have plastic in them. So I've been drinking loose leaf tea out of this really cute little teapot. You can buy the loose leaf tea in bigger containers and you're saving a lot of waste if you drink a lot of tea like me. Number 11 is to thrift shop or charity shop. Second-hand clothes shopping is the best thing you can do because the fast fashion and the fashion industry in general is one of the most destructive things on this planet. So the next time you need a new jacket, a new pair of shoes, a new summer dress, go pop down to your local thrift store or charity shop, see what they have, or even look on eBay and places like Depop. They are great places to find the most amazing clothes, which are cheaper and often a lot higher quality. This also goes for electronics. I recently upgraded my whole setup. I got a new camera and a new lens, both secondhand, and I think I saved about £500 in the process of doing that. Do your research, go to your local camera shop, see what you can find if you are after a new camera or a new electronic. I can bet you if you don't compost your food waste, the majority of weight that is in your rubbish bag is from food because it's so heavy, it's so dense, and when it goes to landfill, it actually can't break down and compost properly. So because it can't decay properly in a landfill, it will produce methane, which is a greenhouse gas. So if you compost your food, you're immediately reducing the emissions that are going into the environment. It works differently where you are. Some places will collect food waste from your door and you'll have little food waste bins. Where we are, we don't have that, so we just looked up locally where there was a composting scheme. Look around locally, there will be gardens and there will be places, if it isn't collected from your door, there will be places that you can compost your food. Even if you don't have a garden, it can be done, even in cities. So approximately a third of all food produced for human consumption is either lost or thrown away. Can you believe that? And that is approximately 1.3 billion tonnes of food. In the UK alone, we throw away 7 million tonnes of food every year, and the average household throws away 470 pounds of food every single year. This is something I see a lot of people doing, just throwing their food away if they don't finish it. Try not to do this. Put it in a container to eat the next day. If it's going off, freeze it. Get a bit more organised, meal plan the week, think about the food that you're going to be eating, don't over purchase on things. Also doing things like a pantry challenge where you eat out the food in the pantry before it goes off, and you do a freezer challenge where you eat all the food in the freezer. These are all ways that we can make sure that food waste isn't ending up in the bin. So as I just mentioned, meal planning can really help to reduce your waste. I like to spend maybe 10-15 minutes of the weekend writing down the meals that we're going to eat that week and then a shopping list. That means when we go to the supermarket, we're only sticking to foods that we're going to be eating and we're not producing extra waste by buying foods, it going off and then having to end up in the bin. Number 16 is to go vegan. This is probably one of the most impactful things that you can do in your day-to-day life to reduce your carbon footprint. If you compare a carbon footprint of a vegan to a vegetarian to a meat eater, there is a drastic difference. Animal agriculture requires massive amounts of land, water, food and energy, therefore making it a leading contributor to global greenhouse gas emissions. For example, it takes 2,400 gallons of water to produce just 1 pound of meat, whereas it only takes 25 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of wheat. Not to mention the impact of animal farming on destruction of wildlife, overfishing, deforestation and the depletion of fresh water sources. The food on your plate is therefore one of the biggest and most direct changes you can make to your impact on this planet. So number 17 is to learn how to cook your own food. If you're cooking from home, you have more control over food waste and packaging, and also it's going to save you money. I have so many videos on my channel for vegan recipes and lots of very easy recipes. They're not complicated. I don't like to cook complicated things. So yeah, go check them out, and learning how to cook your own food at home will save you having to eat out so much and buy pre-packaged ready meals and frozen meals. It will really make a huge difference. Number 18 is to use silicone mats. These are amazing. My mum got them first, and then I love them so much she gave one to me. It means that you don't have to buy foil or baking paper, and yeah, you can just wash it and reuse it over and over again. Number 19 is to say no to trends, whether that's a fashion trend or a latest gadget that everybody else has. Step back and ask yourself the question, will I use this a year from now? Will it just be a fad? Will I regret spending X amount of money on it in the future? Really think about that and try your best to say no. Number 20 is to recycle. Now this is maybe really obvious, but some people still don't recycle. Make the effort to recycle even when you're out and about. If you have some rubbish, put it in a bag in your backpack or something and take it home to recycle properly. Make sure that even obscure items like cables and things that you can't recycle in your bin outside, you take to the local dump and you recycle properly. Number 21 is menstrual cups or reusable cotton pads. This has been an absolute life changer for me. I switched to a moon cup a few years ago and I would never ever look back. So people who have periods in their lifetime will use on average 10,000 tampons. That is mind-blowing to me. But if you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend that you do. Number 22 is to repair your old items rather than buying a new one. I think we live in a bit of a throwaway culture where if something breaks, we throw it away and we just go buy the new one because it's available to us. But really think about whether you can fix it. If your camera started to break, take it into the shop, see if they can fix it for you. If your trousers rip, try sewing them up rather than just going out and buying a new pair of trousers. Have a look and see if you can get handy and solve the problem. This is actually really fun and I love doing this. I made my own desk, which I love this desk. It would have cost so much money if I brought it new. I basically made it from an old wardrobe door. I stained it, I attached some legs. I actually have a video on it, a really old video. It's a bit cringe, but if you want to know how I did it. But it's a really great way to get experimental, to use old items and create beautiful pieces of furniture out of them, get upcycling and see what you can make. Number 24 is to use items that you already have. Since embarking on minimalism, it's something that I have really dramatically noticed that it takes a very long time to use stuff up. And if you actually use stuff up from when you buy it to when it's completely finished, it will last you a really long time. Number 25 is to go on a budget. This might seem totally disconnected from waste, but when you are saving your money and you're spending less of your money, you're inevitably consuming less and therefore having less of an impact on the planet. It reduces the amount of mindless spending that we do on things like takeaway foods or restaurants or buying stuff and clothes and things that we don't need and that we don't want. Number 26 is to grow your own food. If you are lucky enough to have your own garden or windowsill, give it a go with growing your own herbs, vegetables. It doesn't have to be complicated. I know that growing potatoes and herbs and things like strawberries or lemons is super easy, so give it a go and then you're not having to go and buy things from the supermarket covered in plastic. Number 27 is to join a vegetable box scheme. I haven't actually joined one yet. I'm going to be doing that soon in our local area, but most areas will have them, and then you get fresh seasonal produce from your local farms delivered straight to your door. Number 28 is to recycle and reuse jars for refills and for storage. I have an obsession with jars. Every time we buy something from the supermarket in a jar, I'll wash it out, sterilize it and reuse it for storage. The options are honestly endless. Number 29 is to pick up after yourself. It is alarming the amount of people who don't do this. Likelihood is if you're clicking on this video, you don't do this, or at least I hope you don't do this. Don't go to the beach or to a park, have fun, and then think that leaving your stuff there is going to be someone else's responsibility, because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility to clear up after yourself, not other people or animals to then have to deal with, or if it gets washed into the sea, for fish to have to deal with. And number 30, the final one, is to try buying reduced items at the supermarket. Most supermarkets will have a reduced section that they will stock up in the evenings, so maybe try and time your shop for the evening so you can check out the reduced items. They will often be packaged in plastic, but I like to buy them anyway because it means that that stuff isn't just going to end up in the bin. The amount of food waste, as I mentioned earlier, is through the roof. So go and see if there's any foods there that you were going to be buying anyway, and often you get a really good deal. So I really hope this video inspired you to start reducing your waste. We are at a pivotal moment in our history where we really have to make a difference. We have to make a change. Our children and our children's children are going to be hating us if we don't. We are going to destroy this planet if we keep on doing what we're doing, and it's up to us as individuals to make a change, make a difference, and do what we can on a day-to-day basis. So let me know in the comments the ways in which you're going to be reducing your waste from now on, or the ways that you're trying to reduce your waste currently, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!